In NASCAR, no driver has made fans cheer and boo louder than Kyle Busch. For years, he was the sport's biggest villain, fast on the track, but quick to make people angry. But today, things have changed. That most hated label is starting to move from Busch to Denny Hamlin. So, how did this happen? And why is Hamlin now the driver fans love to hate?
Kyle Busch not happy at all. And Kyle Busch is going to turn the green to the wall. Championship contender Hornaday in the wall.
Well, Kyle Busch should be parked for this race and maybe the rest of the season for that.
It started back in 2011. Kyle Busch, already infamous for his on-track temper and off-track remarks, sealed his villain legacy with one shocking move. During the Truck Series race at Texas Motor Speedway, Busch punted championship contender Ron Hornaday Jr. into the wall during a caution.
Trying to take that spot away.
How about that young driver Ron Hornaday trying to get by Kyle Busch here? Ooh, close.
Wide into turn 4. That moves Kyle Busch all the way up the racetrack. He has to catch it before he gets in the wall. And Hornaday catches the wall.
It was retaliation, pure and simple. Busch was a part-time driver with nothing to lose. Hornaday, meanwhile, saw his title hopes vanish in an instant. NASCAR didn't hesitate. They parked Busch for the rest of the weekend. That was the moment. That's when fans decided Kyle Busch wasn't just aggressive, he was dangerous. And it wasn't a one-time thing. In his early years, Busch was known for whining after losses, taking jabs at Dale Earnhardt Jr., and delivering smart aleck comments in interviews. While his talent was undeniable, his attitude left fans divided. Some appreciated the fire, most just wanted him to lose badly. But something changed. Over the years, Kyle Busch's image softened. Maybe it was maturity. Maybe it was his departure from Joe Gibbs Racing and the move to Richard Childress Racing. Suddenly, the same fans who once booed him began to see him differently. He was no longer public enemy has shown. He was a veteran, a survivor, even sympathetic. The irony? The torch of hatred passed to someone many thought they'd always like, Denny Hamlin. When Hamlin first entered NASCAR in 2005, he was a breath of fresh air, a rookie with talent and a likable personality. He was the underdog who earned his seat through sheer speed. But over time, things shifted. Small controversies turned into larger ones. Feuds erupted. And eventually, fans began to turn. One of the earliest signs came during a race at Richmond, the same event where Kyle Busch drew ire from Junior Nation. Hamlin was leading but dropped back due to tire wear. Then, bizarrely, he stalled on track, drawing suspicion.
What a shame. A slow leak in the right front tire robs Denny Hamlin of victory and now will cost him a lead lap finish.
And I'm going to tell you what, this is where those crew chiefs will earn their money down there right now, because we talked about the Nationwide Series race last night.
Fans questioned whether it was a tactic. The whispers started. Then came the spin at Martinsville. Hamlin tangled with fan favorite Chase Elliott, spinning him out and igniting outrage. Fans were furious. Some even confronted Hamlin on pit road. And when he won at Bristol, the boos were deafening. So how did Hamlin go from underdog to villain? Some blame his ownership role with 23XI Racing. Others say it's his boldness on and off the track. Whether it's calling out NASCAR policies or defending controversial moves on his podcast Actions Detrimental, Hamlin has embraced the role. In fact, when asked recently if he sees himself as a villain, Hamlin didn't hesitate. There's no going back at this point. I've adapted my style to match the aggressive drivers out there. I've had the bad end of it long enough, so now I race more aggressively to get wins, because that's what everyone else has been doing, he admitted. And nowhere was that aggression more evident than at Kansas Speedway in 2025. Hamlin, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, led 159 laps. He was dominant, but in the final moments he got tight under Bubba Wallace, his own 23XI driver, and pushed him into the wall. The contact cost both of them the win, handing it to Chase Elliott. Wallace flipped him off. Hamlin shrugged it off.
Goes in the wall. Bubba's hanging on. Here comes Hamlin. Driving that car with no power steering. Bubba's in the wall. He's fighting his bus for this win. Chase Elliott comes through on the inside. Oh my goodness. Chase Elliott.
The incident set off a firestorm. Fans blasted Hamlin for wrecking his own driver. Wallace dropped below the playoff cut line. Hamlin, for his part, praised Wallace's maturity but blamed 23XI for their earlier struggles. "I want to be sympathetic, and I am sympathetic," Hamlin said on his podcast. I hate that the 2-3 Wallace is below the cut, but 23XI ran like dogs **T at FING New Hampshire. That's why they're below the cut. Even with praise, the damage was done. Hamlin wasn't seen as a tough boss making hard calls. He was seen as the guy who took out his own driver chasing personal glory. Fans, already skeptical, turned their backs. But that begs the question, why do some drivers get redeemed and others don't? Kyle Busch was once hated with a passion. But now, fans respect him. They've seen his growth, his family man persona, his ability to change teams and still compete. He's become more relatable, less arrogant. Hamlin, on the other hand, leans into the hate. He makes bold moves, shrugs off criticism, and continues talking his talk. For some fans, that's refreshing. For others, it's infuriating. And then there are drivers like Austin Hill and Austin Dillon. Fans don't just dislike them, they loathe them. Austin Hill, in particular, has developed a reputation for being aggressive, entitled, and frankly, obnoxious. His fight at Martinsville only cemented that view. Many fans call it a sucker punch. Others say it was just plain dirty. And unlike Hamlin or Busch, Hill doesn't have the track record to earn forgiveness. As one fan put it, he's everything unlikable without any redeeming qualities. Austin Dillon faces a different challenge. It's not that he's hated for who he is, it's what he represents. Nepotism. The grandson of team owner Richard Childress, Dillon has long been seen as a driver who hasn't earned his spot. Driving the iconic #3 only adds to the scrutiny. Then there's Thank You Gibbs, another legacy driver. While he's beginning to shed the arrogance of his Xfinity days, many fans remain skeptical. But unlike Hill or Dillon, Gibbs has time and talent on his side. The truth is, very few NASCAR drivers stay hated forever. Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Sr., both Busch brothers, even Darrell Waltrip, they all had their villain eras. But over time, fans grew to love them. Sometimes it takes retirement. Sometimes it takes vulnerability. Other times, it's just a matter of time. And social media plays a big role in shifting public opinion. Fans now have a direct line to drivers' personalities outside of race day. Podcasts, live streams, and behind-the-scenes content offer glimpses of who they really are. Some drivers thrive under that spotlight, changing opinions just by showing authenticity. Others, they double down and feed the fire. Hamlin may yet follow the same path. After all, he's talented, he's outspoken, and he's not afraid of being the villain. But if he keeps taking out teammates, defending every move, and leaning into the boos, redemption might never come. What's most fascinating is how fan culture itself has evolved. There was a time when a driver could be booed at every track and never recover. Now, thanks to digital content, real-time engagement, and a hunger for personality-driven narratives, the landscape has changed. A well-timed apology or honest moment on a podcast can change everything. And with NASCAR leaning more into its entertainment value, drivers who create storylines are often the ones who stay in the spotlight, love them or hate them. So what really happened to NASCAR's most hated driver? He evolved. Kyle Busch transformed from cocky kid to respected veteran, and in his place, Denny Hamlin stepped up as the sport's new antagonist, not by accident, but by choice. Whether that path leads to glory or infamy, that remains to be seen. Because in NASCAR, you're never just a driver. You're a hero, a villain, a story waiting to be told. And for Denny Hamlin, that story's just getting started.